Wonderful. Welcome everybody to this next installment of Global Lightworker Global Call to Action podcast series. If you're joining live, welcome. I'm so glad you can make it. If you're joining later, welcome. We're so very glad to reach out in this time of upheaval and connect with all of you and support you in whatever way we can, and support each other and move through all of this together as all of it unfolds. I am Geneva Robbins. For those of you who don't know me, I am a Reiki master here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I've been doing Reiki for many years, teaching and facilitating meditations and that work. And I've been really drawn to help through this. I've felt that there's a big call for this there's an energetic need for the work that we do. And I'm really happy to support all of you. And it also, I always say that all healing is self-healing. It also helps me to be engaged in purposeful action and help from the place that I know best, which is helping people manage their energy and emotions. So welcome. Thank you for being here. It is really, really important. And I was mentioning earlier that this feels a lot like an energetic pit stop, if we're all Formula One racers out there in the world doing our bit in whatever way we can. Meetings like these and gatherings like these are like a rest and calm from the storm, so that we can regroup, ground together, share our experiences, support each other, and move through this to, I believe, a more compassionate, creative space in the world. And we're already seeing so many overwhelmingly beautiful acts of courage and kindness and support for our neighbors, for strangers, for the world as a whole. And it moves me beyond tears many times a day. So, and our topic today is feeling through the darkness to the light, and really helping us move through all of the loss, the disruption, the change, and really moving in through those feelings, through the energy of it, and sort of tapping into this greater source of energy and support, which I know how to do through Reiki and meditation. So we'll be doing some meditations based on that information and the information that's flowing to me and through me during this time. I find these spiritual and energetic resources that are available to us from kind, compassionate energy and beings has never been greater. There's such a huge rush of energy for us all through all of this, and it's a very powerful activation. I'm finding when I work with one-on-one with people, to really activate people's gifts, talents, and abilities. And then once we're in that solid energetic space, then we can begin to reach out support to others. A lot of this work is, in some ways, it's like energetic hygiene. Of first, you have to put on your own energy suit and your energy container before you can reach out and help another person. You have to get good and grounded and safe. And from that place of stability and safety, then you can help. And that's really important. Physically, we all know very well the importance of physical hygiene and sterilization, and there's lots of information pouring through about that. But there's also a need for energetic and emotional hygiene and keeping us healthy and safe within our energy containers. And I'll describe a little bit more about what I mean about all of that as we go through. But I have a helper on the line with me, Kyla Shepard. She's a Reiki master here in Calgary, Alberta, with me as well. She's on the line and she'll be supporting you in the chat and and helping me through this as well, because we all need each other through this. And so welcome. Thank you, Kyla, for supporting me and supporting everyone else on the call today. Say hi.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for being here, and thank you for doing this for us, Geneva. We really love to come together like this. It's been so awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's my service, so I had to. And I want to. There's such a deep drive within me to help others. And I imagine a lot of you on the call and listening or watching later also feel a deep call to help, but maybe you already are helping in a very big capacity. A lot of people are serving in a greater way than they ever have before. A lot of people are really kind of on their feet all day long on the front lines of this. So if you are somebody working on the front lines of this pandemic, thank you. Hopefully this can be a little bit of a respite and a pit stop for you so that you can get topped up with all the grounded energy and everything like that. So yeah, so I would like to just introduce you to Zoom, which is also our buddy and helper in this. And I just want to send a big thank you to the tech angels who have figured out all of this stuff and figured it out so well before all of this hit. It's been seamless, really. So one of the things is that we've got you all muted, so you don't have to worry about having your hair done or us hearing you accidentally. We have the ability to only we have the ability to access your microphone. So that's a little bit of, you can breathe a sigh of relief. You don't have to worry about cleaning up behind you or anything like that.
On that note,
Yes.
can you see, Geneva, to confirm if everybody is muted? Because Sunita was just wondering, because her background is noisy.
Yes, everybody is muted by default, or should be, if I've said it. Yeah, everybody should be muted by default. And we can see that because you can't see anybody's microphone active. So, and the only way to talk on these is one of us has to approve you. So, but we're happy to hear your voice if you feel comfortable, you've got a good internet connection, and you have something to say and you feel comfortable with that, we're happy to hear you. That is a wonderful thing. And yes, but we are also very happy to hear from you in the chat. So maybe Kyla, you can explain the chat for us.
Yes, I haven't done it on my phone, to be honest, so I don't know if anyone's on their phone. It might be a little bit trickier, but we can try to walk you through it. But when you're on a computer, at least, when you're in the screen side, like on the left side for me, and you kind of move your mouse around, on the bottom there is a panel. Then it tells you, I can see there if I'm muted or my video, and there's a button in there that says chat. And if you click that chat button, it should pull up a bar on the right hand side where you can type into there. So you haven't tried it yet on your phone, Geneva?
Not as an attendee, so we see different screens, but basically mostly it's if you tap the screen on your phone, at the bottom there are options for the chat, and you can type in there. And if you have the chat going to all panelists and attendees, then we can all see your comment. And if it just is all panelists, then only Kyla and I can see it. So, but I would love to hear from you. If you wanted to type in how you, if you wanted to type in where you're from and how things are affecting you in your area of the world, we'd love to hear from that, sort of where you are right now today. And Kate says that she's on her phone and she only gets the option to type and who it goes to. So yeah, so you can just do that. So yeah, great. So anybody, if you'd like to share your experiences, that's great. If not, that's also okay. Wonderful. I'm always checking my notes. So
Yes. Yes.
yes. So
Definitely.
thank you. So you can go ahead and anytime during the call you can type in how things are going. We'd love to hear from you about what your needs are. Yes. I am actually really interested because this call is really about our feelings, and we obviously have many feelings and all about all of this, and that's a really normal thing. When any disruption occurs, it's really it creates a wave of and a cascade of emotions within us, moment to moment, day by day. Some of the emotions that I've had, this feeling of loss, disruption, change, grief, sadness, joy, calm, anger, confusion, distraction, numbing, and hope, amongst all of the others. And it changes like a cascade moment to moment. I cry every day. If I miss a day of crying, then I cry double the next day, and crying both directions. So through this feeling of grief and loss, for myself personally, and for the world at large, and the communities, and the fear I have for vulnerable populations, both the people who are vulnerable from this virus, but also the people who have always been vulnerable. In some ways, I have to pull my mind back from that because I can get very easily overwhelmed with the immensity of what's happening. And yeah, and I just it's enormous. Sometimes at night I'm normally a good sleeper. I have trouble. I will have waves of overwhelm and just almost like my body shakes within everything, and then I have moments of just indescribable joy, grounded, feeling connected to my purpose, of seeing people connect, and how heartwarming that is, and how uplifting some of the things that I've seen and experienced and heard from people is just completely heartwarming. I heard the other day that here in Calgary that there are doctors and nurses who are retired who are coming back into service to support the people who are already working, which means that they're putting themselves on the front lines in danger in order to help us. And that is overwhelming, from a standpoint of gratitude. So that's it kind of takes my breath away a bit. Yeah, thank you. Kyla, would you like to share how you are feeling all the way through this?
Yes. I will start by saying that I am still working, and I'm very grateful to be at this time. So I have a lot of feelings too, but because I have just been still like continuing to work, I've sort of just been not like pushing through per se, but not, I haven't made a lot of time and space for all the feels, but there are a lot, pretty much everything that you mentioned for sure. Um, Also, my husband got laid off this week, as many people can probably completely relate to, or has also been there. So to anyone in the same position or with that same fear, my heart goes out to you. I'm totally with you. We'll get through this together. I have a lot of grief and sadness as well, but about so many things, but also about my family doesn't live in the city. I mean, even if they did, we would be trying to self-isolate anyways. But to not be going to see your loved ones in person and being able to hold them, that can be really hard. So yeah, there is definitely a lot of things. But I also have, like you, I've also got a lot of so much gratitude for all of you, for being here, for doing your work, including just your self-care work. That is so important. And also for the way everyone seems to be really pulling together. It's been absolutely amazing to see people's compassion and their kindness and their support, and that just recognizing, I guess, it feels like so many people are really seeing how we're all in this together. This isn't like one person's going through it and you can't relate. I think we can all relate on some level. And people have been really, Calgarians, in my experience, have been really amazing. So I'm very grateful for them as well.
Yes, yes. Our individual communities and our global community, there's this wave of empathy and compassion that's unprecedented. Unprecedented. I have a friend who works in the university at the U of C, and she was involved with the team that brought all of the university classes online. And she said that 2 weeks ago, they did not have the capacity to teach all of the classes online. And over a weekend, they did it, which is just staggering. And she's remarked at how amazed and how nice it's been, of how much forgiveness and compassion the students and patience the students have shown, which maybe wasn't there before all of this, for just that to get all of our services in people's hands. Same thing with teachers in in schools, trying to convert all of this information into a way that parents can teach from home. And really almost every single sector of our world is disrupted in some way. So, but yeah, and that creates a lot of feelings and a lot of energy, which we will help you with today and ground. I'd like to read some comments. Hello, Shauna, fellow Reiki master here in Calgary. So grateful to be a part of this session. Thank you, Shauna. So nice to see you here. Tara, I'm from Calgary and working at the Cancer Center here and unable to work from home. I've been struggling quite a bit. Thank you, Tara. That's amazing. Yeah, hopefully this can give you a little boost um, to get through the next little bit. Gail from Calgary, so far things are going well in my small circle. I'm struggling with the fear that people seem to enjoy sharing with anyone who will listen. Yes, I have a blog post coming about how to manage feelings of anger and just the sort of people are reacting sometimes out of their abilities and skill sets of coping. And some of that is dismissing. So people will dismiss things. Sometimes it's like there's a juice to stirring the pot. And all of the ways that people used to cope with things, that's how they're coping with things. And that can create a lot of things within us. So I'll be posting more of that on the blog. And all of these events are recorded and on the Luna Holistic blog, so you can listen back later if you miss one. We're going to be hosting them twice a week for the foreseeable future, as long as there's a need, which I don't know if the need ever stops, really. And I'm we're working on ways of sort of bringing this information of what we do here to greater groups of people. So thank you, Gail. Natasha, um, sadness for me today. As a mother, I've had to make a hard decision to and not allow my two teenage boys to travel back and forth between their father's house and mine. Extremely difficult. Absolutely. Just kids are not as affected by the virus, but they're vectors of disease. They may not have any symptoms, but and just even keeping them safe as well. And that's definitely it's a very difficult choice. But if you've made it from your heart, you have to trust that it's the right call. We were forced into making so many decisions on so many ways that we were never prepared to make before. So I find it's like if you can travel into your heart and make a decision from your heart, and really trust that it's the call you make, and the call you make is the call you make, and just and then in the future you might make another choice, and that's okay too. So Sunita, I'm feeling very similar to Kyla, very focused on work and not really thinking about the larger implications yet. I work as a nurse in a hospital and it's been quite busy. I think once the busyness is over, it will hit me. Absolutely. There is a lot of that feeling of being on the ground and on call. And the last time I felt this way, not that it's at all the same as being a nurse in a hospital, but the last time I felt this way it feels like a combination for me of having, I have a science background. So, doing my undergrad, having 5 science classes, midterms and exams, that plus having a newborn baby, just like I feel the call, I feel the urge to help, and I can foresee when this dies down that I'm going to need to go into a phase of rest and recovery when it does all hit me. Right now, I'm doing my best to keep it outside my bubble because all things beyond my control, which are so many and so massive, I can only process what I have control over, and I have to bring myself back to grounding and to the present moment and going, what can I do from the place I'm in right now? And I do that. And I let everything else be outside my bubble, which is hard work and takes a fair bit of effort and energy. But if you are in a place of high service for others, where you are working long hours and dealing with a lot of this work, then your priority is not the rest of the world, but what you are doing just in that one moment. And your work includes self-care like this, and taking care of your body, taking care of your family, and just doing your very best to rest and recover in between shifts. And that's all you're doing. So there are many people working on many different aspects of this worldwide, and we just have to hand it all over to those angels, like the technological angels who are figuring out how I can offer courses online. There are people developing software solutions that will help me on this, and I have to really be on the step I'm on. I can't be in what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. It's too far away. I thought it was really great that my window of planning could expand from that day, that next, maybe the next hour. And now I'm kind of like, I can kind of look 2 or 3 days ahead, but each day I'm deciding each day what I do and what I don't do. As all of the information unfolds. And And I also know that future plans are kind of funny right now, because it's all a question mark. So I'm just, like many people, have been going day by day through all of this. So thank you. Malti, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I'm from Vancouver and coping well under the circumstances. It's the uncertainty that's concerning. Absolutely. We're in a very big state of vulnerability. So thank you everybody for sharing. And please feel free to type into the chat anytime, anything you would like to share. Hedda, I've been delivering food to others and sending healing to some who need it. I now have a tooth abscess, so my body is more vulnerable. So staying away from people in general, absolutely. Sometimes your work is just taking care of yourself and and resting. And don't worry if you're not immediately called into service for others yet, and that's going to change day by day. There's going to be waves of this, as it all unfolds, and you might be in a wave of rest and recovery. You might be in a wave of activity and holding space for others, and that might change moment to moment, day by day, depending on what's happening for you. And there's a need for flexibility, to have a flexible container for all of the things as we're cultivating this new way of doing everything that we've done. Every single aspect of our lives, we're doing it differently than we did before. Even something as simple as it used to be to go and pick up your groceries is now something that you plan for in advance and you have to think about. And there's all kinds of habits that we have that we're trying to retrain and rewire our brains. So just even as something as simple as that, is we're all adapting to that. You think of it used to be simple and now it's not, and then other things are easier. So it's quite a change and shift. And just one more before I go on to the grounding meditation. Shauna, I'm grateful to be part of the essential services that provide care to people's greatest companions, their pets. I just go into overdrive and work in a modified fashion. The appreciation from our clients is so uplifting and gives me the grounding I need to continue. Thankful I still have a job. Well, thank you, Shauna. Yes, and there's all kinds of things that some things we think about and some things we don't. I went into a pet food store because I normally get my bird food shipped, and it hadn't arrived and I wasn't sure if it was going to arrive. So I went to the pet food store and I was like, this is a grocery store for pets. We need that. And so just all the things that you never thought of, and now we're thinking about it and creating new ways of doing all of the things. So thank you, everybody. That was really lovely. Kyla, do you have any thoughts before we go into the grounding meditation you'd like to share?
I am just with you and say thank you to everyone, particularly those on the front lines. I know how hard it is. I actually used to be a nurse as well, so I can only imagine what it would be like in this wild time. It was hard enough on a regular day, but also the frontline people who are working in grocery stores, Shauna, and everybody's contribution is so important. Like, even if you feel like you're not contributing, your self-care truly is contributing to the greater whole. Everybody is doing your part, and even if you are not actively feeling like you're doing something now, you don't know where you will be at in the future. Perhaps you're going to be called in the next wave. You don't know. So everybody is so valuable and important, and just trust your guidance. Do your best to take care of yourself. That's where we have to start anyway. And you being here and just sharing with us and offering support to everybody else, that's so significant too. So remember to also celebrate yourself and your wins and your self-care and yourself. Be grateful for yourself and all you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Very, very well said, Kyla. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's we never know the impacts that we have on others, and that's really, I use the word light worker because it's a catch-all phrase for what I feel is people who have big compassionate hearts, who are called to service and helping, who really have a lot of empathy and compassion for others, and people who are really sensitive with their energy. And that's really the people that I serve and help, and I teach them these skills of Reiki and meditation to help them manage their own energy field on the best day, like you were saying. In the old world, when we needed these skills, and we need these skills even more now, they're even more important as all of this unfolds. So thank you everybody for sharing. I want to go into our grounding meditation. So grounding is a practice, and it's a visualization energetic technique that helps you plug into the resources of Mother Earth below your feet. Mother Earth is 4 billion plus years old, and that's a very huge resource of support for us, this to tap into something that is ancient and loving and caring and nurturing. And that energy is something that we can activate within us because we are part of the planet, and it is also something that helps us feel connected, safe, and supported. So, and if you're new to meditation, that's totally okay. Just follow along. There are two main skills that will help you with your meditation practice if you're new to meditation. But are good reminders even if you're an experienced meditator, because I find when we get into a state of fight or flight, um, that our eyes sort of stayed wide open, and our breath gets shallower. And even though my career is meditation and Reiki, I find it really hard for my own practice in this time to close my eyes and just breathe slowly, if I'm in a state, and so there's the two things are, one is to close your eyes, which is something you have complete control over. Um, and the other is to slow your breathing rate down, which is another thing you have complete control over. And that can really help when things are so uncertain. When there's a lot of stuff going on, it can help us put us back into our bodies. And don't worry if your mind is really busy. Don't worry if your heart's really busy, if there's lots of emotions within you right now. Whatever they are is what they are, and we welcome all of our emotions like tender friends. And by accepting all of our emotions and making space and comfort for them, it really allows us to, it actually helps us move through them faster. Not that we need to rush through our emotions, but it just helps with the processing. As soon as we accept and acknowledge whatever emotion we have with compassion, kindness, and tenderness, it tends to soften within us. And so it's creating that soft space within us for everything that we're feeling. And when it softens, we are then able to access this greater resource of our spirit and our soul and the energy within the universe and the earth to ground us and keep us in one place. So in the eye of the storm, so to speak. So we'll start off with the grounding meditation. So all you need to do is just follow along. That's as simple as that. And yeah. We go. This is a grounding meditation from my book, The Secret Art of Happiness. I'll be talking a little bit more about that as a resource for you. if you don't already have a copy. I've been referring to it a lot lately, and it's a good place for it's all about dealing with your emotions. So it can be a good one for you. Yes. There we go. So just very gently, as you listen to my voice, let your breath relax and gently close your eyes. Place your feet flat on the floor and bring your spine up straight. Just gently become aware of the energy of the earth just below the base of your spine, just below your feet. Notice the vast expanse of energy available to you now. This energy is wise, dependable, and nurturing. Feel the charge and character of this earth energy now. Become aware of the energy within your body. Observe the difference or similarity between your energy and the earth's energy. Just notice this gently, easily, and with great kindness. Now, easily with your breath, allow the energy of your body and the energy of the earth to balance out. Let the energy reach its own stable resting point, your natural equilibrium. Allow the charges in your body and in the earth to harmonize. Just easily and gently with your breath. Notice how your breath helps the energy flow. Notice the support, the love, the comfort that is available to you now. There's no need to push or pull the energy here. Just step aside and let it flow. Allow the earth energy to rise up your body, right to your crown. Allow any unwanted energy or tension to flow off right through your feet. Let the nurturing presence of Mother Earth be with you now. Surrender all barriers and blockages to her magnificent love. You are so loved. Feel it now. Rest here for a moment. When you're ready, bring yourself back into the room, back into the present moment, gently wiggling your fingers and your toes, fully reintegrating with your physical body. You can bring your hands down your legs, just letting the energy plug into the earth. Smoothing your hands down your legs. And then you'll finish off by sweeping your hands through over your aura, with so having your hands face your body and just move your hands over the energy field around you. That's that your aura is your electromagnetic energy bubble. And so just smoothing that off and then giving that energy a little pat to seal it in. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. There we go. There we are. Thank you, everybody. As you're kind of coming back, if you would like to share what you experienced in that meditation in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. For me, I feel so much better. I feel back in my body. I felt like emotions rise and fall, and then they would drift away, and then another one would rise up and drift away. But I feel really, really warm and cozy. That was my experience. Kyla, what did you experience?
That was lovely, Geneva. Thank you for taking us through that. So beautiful. I was feeling a lot of things before, like so grateful for everybody, and also really, really grateful and admiring everyone's courage and openness and sharing where they're at with us. And like, there's some hard things that we're going through, right? And I'm definitely feeling for everybody, but also that was really helpful to kind of ground a little bit of that so I can still feel it, but be back in my own bubble, my own space. And I did get a little vision too of us all in our own little isolation bubbles of golden light, and then it what looked like bridges of love and light connecting all of our isolation bubbles. So we are just feeling very connected to everybody and seeing how we are all connected, and we just keep working on that, which is so amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for helping us with that.
Yeah, for any time. Twice a week. I'll be here.
That's right. So great.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. That's such a beautiful visual of being in these little bubbles, of everybody needs to be in their own grounding cord, their own divine channel. Everybody gets their own. Just like everybody gets their own head and everybody gets their own pair of feet. You're not walking on somebody else's feet. You're not using somebody else's grounding channel. Everybody's got their own. And the bubble of light around us is everybody's really needing to be physically, we're being put in our own containers, but energetically we also need to do that so that we can feel like we can. It helps us when we're all in our own bubble. Not only does it help us not transmit disease, but it also helps us stay steady and grounded in that, in whatever we need to do and present. So I've got a comment from Sunita. I feel so much better. Those are some of the deepest breaths I've taken all week. You're right about how grounding and calming it is to simply breathe deeply. Thanks, Geneva. Thank you, Sunita. I really appreciate you being here. Gail, calm and peaceful and a feeling of serenity, knowing that what will be will be. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, grounding is really, really amazing, and it helps us connect back in with our bodies and be present. There's an extra caution is that a lot of people are coping with a lot of things on multiple areas of their life, and so they tend to be really in their minds and not in their hearts and not in their bodies. So when you're out and about and you're on the roads, use extra caution to make sure you are grounded before you operate a heavy vehicle, and also be aware that everybody is driving distracted, whether they are or not. So be very cautious that way. Thank you. Shauna, I thought I was doing well and was grounded, but that made me notice I was quite disconnected and kind of floating away. It felt so good to come down and feel the safety and comfort from the earth, remembering that that is always available. Thank you for that. Tara, thank you. Tara, I'm never sure how to pronounce names. I hope you will all forgive me if I mush it up. Thank you so much for doing this. Heart, thank you. Melanie, this grounding practice takes me home into my body where it is safe and secure. Thank you. Thank you. And Lise, I can hear birds, the birds singing, and I'm watching them flitting in the trees, and the sun is shining as if Mother Nature is giving us all a hug and letting us know it will all be well. Exactly. That's been my feeling too. Like it's heightened my ability to appreciate the joyful moments. I heard birds singing this morning. I'm aware of like how fresh the air smells when we go for walks outside, just how beautiful place we're in, and it's just really wonderful. I find that it's all really heightened. Feeling calm and relaxed. Everything looks so much brighter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm so pleased that that helped. All right. So where are we at? Great. So yeah, thank you so much for all of your comments, for all of your sharing your experiences. It's really a beautiful thing, and I agree, Kyla. I keep getting this image of us each being our own little sparks of light in the world, and that we're all reaching out to each other like this interconnected web of people who are illuminating and holding space for people. And it's really important, as you said before, it's really important to remember that if that's all you do, that's enough. I don't know if anybody's had, a really important, loving person in their lives, like a grandma or an auntie or an uncle or, a dad, or somebody that maybe is gone now, that just filled your heart just by being near them. And then when they were gone, you noticed how much they did for you without even noticing. And that's really what I feel with all of this, is that we often are completely unaware of the light and joy and solace and comfort we bring to others just by our presence, just by doing things that just seem normal when you are used to living in your heart space. Just, taking that extra second to just ask people how they are, or just sort of looking and listening deeply and holding big space for people, which you've probably always done. You've always been that person that people could talk to, and people just feel comfortable and safe in your presence, and that's that's lots that people need that more than ever. I've been really aware of how we all have our special gifts and talents. And some of that is sort of the gifts of the soul, and what you want to create and bring to the world. So maybe you have a novel that you've always wanted to write. Maybe you're a singer and you need to sing. Maybe you bring joy to people, and by cooking or sharing a laugh. All of those things, we need all of those things. And there's so many ways of serving people that also gives you joy and makes you feel good. I get emotional every time I think of it, but I think of the people in Italy singing from their balconies, and that just anchors me in that feeling of like, people just need to connect, and there's so many ways of doing that now, and it doesn't have to be big. It can just be something really, really simple. And often it's something that you would just do normally anyway without even thinking of it. So that's part of it. But then also beyond that is, I see us all spaced out in different roles. I see people who are compassionate. The people that I worked with before all of this happened, they're in every sector. They're in every area. They work in every area. They're in an administration. They're in healthcare, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they have what they would have thought were really boring, unsatisfying, unfulfilling jobs. But those skills even are really useful. I was really aware of how my training in environmental risk assessment, I was an environmental risk assessor for 16 years, and it was a really intensive job where I was needing to be really mentally sharp and aware every single day, using my creative centers, using my logical brain, putting big concepts together into a way that people could understand them, but also not losing sight of the nitty gritty details. And then because my job was very intensive, and a lot of it was telling people that they had to spend millions of dollars to clean up contaminated sites, delivering bad news, that I knew I had to develop a self-care practice and routine, and that rest and recovery was really important if I was going to do my job well. And while that wasn't what my heart called me to do, my heart's always called me to do something like this. But that's where I was for a really long time. And but all of those skills that I learned in my old day job but towards the end I was kind of done with, and I just wanted to do this full time. My all of those skills I realize I'm using now. My ability to process information at a really fast rate, to recharge and rest and recover and know when I need to step away and when I can lean back in. um, all of that was training I learned on a job that wasn't fulfilling towards the end. It didn't speak to my heart. So if you're in a place where you've been wondering what your purpose is, I feel like the universe has placed us they feel like there's this deliberateness of that we've got people spread out all over to help in all of the different ways so that we can support not just ourselves but other people through this. So that's what I kind of have been seeing and thinking and feeling about all of this. Kyla, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't think. I think
No.
those were excellent points. And I have also been wanting to move in this direction for a really, really long time. And I think that there is just magic and divine timing in how we move from one place to another and how fast. But I also feel so. The first call that I did with you, you said something very similar. Like you feel that the universe has all placed us exactly where we need to be at the time. And in this past week in particular at work, like I have really, really felt the truth of that myself. So I'm really leaning into it and just doing my best with it, giving it my all.
Yeah. And thank you. And thank you. It's important. And we may never know exactly how important it is, because the people you help and you're serving, you may not know them, and you might never see them again, but it might completely change their day,
Mhm.
and the trajectory of how they're coping with something like this, which is beyond most pretty much everybody's capacity to cope. you
Yes.
know um, uh, Everything that we used to be able to use and rely on to cope with things has shifted and changed. So but thank you. Sunita, that was so beautifully said, Geneva. Oh, thank you for sharing that everything we experience and doing has a purpose. Yeah, I really feel that. I look back at so many experiences I had up until this moment, and I needed every single one of them. All of the positive ones, all of the negative ones, all of the difficult times that I've ever had in my entire life. Every single experience has led me here. And I wouldn't change anything. I have no regrets. I have released pretty much everything with compassion and love and forgiveness that happened before March 12th. It's gone, like old world for me. That's when it hit here and it hit home for me here. I know other people have a different date, maybe for old world, new world, old way, new way. And and going forward, it's really about finding this new way through. But we've been trained, and I think earlier Hedda had mentioned on the chat about how she'd gone through really lots of crises up until this moment. And I agree, last year was hard for me in many ways, personally, professionally, all kinds of things were happening for me. And 2018 was also a difficult year for me. But I had seen that with a lot of the people that were coming into the space at Luna Holistic, and we were helping them. And many people last year were going through a lot. So if you go back through and think of all of the things you did to heal over the last couple of years, they're all preparatory experiences. And one of the things that is the primary core of my teaching is that all healing is self-healing. And so you think all of the things that you did to help you heal your own things, whether they were physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual things, all of those became skill sets that you're now using to help others. And also all of those skills you need now to help you cope and move through your own stuff that's happening right now. And we are all moving through different levels of our own things in different areas of our lives. Sometimes the small problems that we had have just totally disappeared. They just don't matter when faced with a crisis of this magnitude. Maybe they'll matter later when it all settles. Maybe it won't. Maybe those things are just done and they just aren't issues anymore. But then the big problems we had are still big problems. So if you have really big health issues, if you have emotional or relationship issues, they're big, and maybe they've even gotten inflamed through this. And so it's really that grounding exercise can really help you. And if you do that as often as you need to, as many times a day as you need to, before you leave the house, absolutely do that. Before you get in behind a wheel of a car, do that. Anytime you wash your hands is a really great time to sort of check in with your grounding connection. Just a few breaths of just letting the energy connect in down your legs, making sure that you're standing nice in a nice upright space as much as your body will allow. That opens you up, it opens up your heart, and it lets the energy flow all the way through and down your legs to connect into the earth below you. That really helps us move through all of the things as they're evolving, minute by minute, moment by moment. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's great. Yes. I wanted to share a little bit more about my book, The Secret Art of Happiness, and why it's got that unusual title. The subtitle is Change Your Life with the Reiki Ideals. So this comes from my tradition in Reiki as a Reiki master for many years. When I first started teaching my Reiki courses, the Reiki Ideals are part of that. And what I noticed is that when people really dug into the Reiki Ideals, they saw massive change and benefit to their lives. And I just want to read you a little excerpt from that because it explains it in a really it explains it in a really great way that I don't have to use my brain all of the time to do. So just very convenient. I'm so happy for my past self who made this book so that I can refer to it to help all of you. If you want a copy, you can buy it. There are digital copies available. If you're concerned, the printer for this is based in the States through Amazon. So you can get a copy through Amazon, but our borders are gradually closing. So if you're concerned about not getting a physical copy, you can buy it through Kobo and Kindle. So that's a way of accessing it. And I'm looking at ways of bringing either excerpts from this or things more available online. So there we go. So the Reiki ideals. The Reiki ideals are 5 very simple principles that guide a person toward happiness. Master Usui, who's the founder of Reiki, adopted them from the Meiji Emperor, who's an emperor in Japan at the time of his, or just before his lifetime, and incorporated them into the Reiki system. They provide a basic philosophy of living a great life and are often called the secret art of inviting happiness. They are called this for a reason. They work. When my students really incorporated the Reiki ideals into their lives, they changed so profoundly that they were almost different people from week to week. The anger, worry, criticism, worthlessness, and cruelty that might have plagued them before were actually replaced with peace, faith, gratitude, worthiness, and kindness. They were happier than they ever remember being. And I was happier too. I found that living by the ideals was not always easy, but being aware of these simple concepts shifted long-standing patterns of worry, fear, and anger within me. Happiness stopped being some elusive, out there, far away thing to be chased down and attained. It lived within me. I could access it reliably with the skills of Reiki and the daily application of the Reiki ideals throughout my life. The Reiki ideals are: just for today, do not anger, do not worry, be grateful for your many blessings, do your work, your meditation and self-healing work honestly, and be kind to yourself and every living thing. Simple, right? So the first one, how do you do that exactly? Let go of anger. And then after that, worry. I'm worried that I might not be able to let go of worry. This is a common response to the Reiki ideals when I teach. That's nice, but how do I do that exactly? This book is really all about just that, integrating the Reiki ideals into daily life, breaking them down into manageable exercises, and getting to happiness. So, and I really do feel like a lot of this still, a lot of the tools and techniques, they still apply, they still work, and they're still really helpful, and I'm using them moment by moment, minute by minute, to help me move through the things that would normally have sent me, when I see news reports of people being callous and cruel, it would have normally sent me into a spiral of rage. But I can't get into that right now. I have to use the Reiki ideals, because if I go too far into my mind with it, and my mind can really get me worked up about everything and away from my inner being and my heart, then I lose the capacity to serve. And there's so much work to be done. And so while I'm aware of the feeling, I'm breathing into it. I'm closing my eyes, I'm breathing through my nose, and I give myself, if it's really intense, I give myself 5 minutes to breathe into what I'm feeling, but not the thought that caused the feeling, not the they shouldn't have done that, that's ridiculous, I can't believe they said that. That's all up here, that's in the mind. The heart and the body have every emotion has a sensation within the physical body. It has an energy, a flavor, a character. And if you tune into what your body is feeling, the body sensations of the emotion, and just breathe into that space, it begins to shift. And anytime the mind starts chattering, it's like, okay, thanks. And then go back. Where am I feeling it in my body? Is it heat? Is it cold? Is it static? Is it tingling? Are my shoulders hunched up? Is my breath ragged and shallow? Can I close my eyes and bring my shoulders down? Can I expand and deepen my breath? Can I breathe fully into the core of what the sensation is? And then when I direct myself there, so like right now, I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling like a wave of almost a jittering in my heart. So if I breathe into that, and I just accept it, and I notice anywhere else in my body, and breathe into that, and it might shift, it might change. Maybe another emotion comes up. And then I find even like where my hand is. So I was feeling it up here, and as I was breathing into it, my hand just normally started moving down my body, and it was moving down, and I was getting more and more into my body as I was doing that. So that might be a helpful technique for you to just notice where they are, where you're feeling it, and then let your hand move. Maybe not trying to move it, just as it eases, everything will just drop. And then you'll be back and grounded and in your body again, moving the energy down like a flow. It can be helpful. So, and then even if I'm not out of it even if I'm still in the emotion 5 minutes later, I just then, I give myself maximum 5 minutes with whatever I'm feeling in that moment. And I really feel it, the sensation of it, not the thought. I feel it deeply in my body. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, I stop and I then go back to work. It's like, and I ask my inner being and my heart, where is my work? What do I do right now? I drop that topic because usually it's things that are beyond my control. I can't control other people. I can't control their opinions or their thoughts or their actions. I can't stop them from saying what they're going to say or doing what they're going to do. I only have control over me. I only have control over my feelings, my thoughts, my actions, my next step. That's it. And from the realm of what I have influence over, I will take action from there. And and that's helped me get through this really intense time and keep on doing this work to offer these things for all of you, and that's been a really thank you for showing up and attending. I figure as long as one other person wants to hear from me, I'm going to keep on doing this because it really helps me anchor in and serve. And then I also give myself space and time to just be off and be a puddle. Um, yesterday, I just cried for about half an hour. I just let it all out, and it's okay to have those times where there'll be times where you need to regulate your emotions, and you really only have you have to keep on moving because maybe you're working, maybe you're serving in some other capacity, maybe you've got little kids at home who get really worried when you start bawling uncontrollably. They're fine if you're fine. And so it's like, there's a bit of needing to sort of marshal your resources, ground, and move through it in that moment. But then giving yourself time and space throughout the days and weeks ahead to just cry in the bathtub, feel what you're feeling, journal and write down what is happening for you. Calling people and getting support from others, asking for what you need, not what you want, but what you need. and getting really, really good at asking for help and knowing, scanning inside yourself, what help do you actually need? And do you need it from that particular person? And are they able to help you? But if they aren't, maybe somebody else can. That's a very vulnerable space for a lot of us who are naturally inclined to help and serve. Sometimes your area of service is really tuning in to what are your needs in this moment, and are there some that you can meet yourself, or are there others you need to ask for help with? So maybe it's asking your partner to make you dinner. Maybe it's your needs are you need to rest and just sleep in. Maybe you need to get to work and get busy, um, and maybe you need to just enjoy the beauty of nature. And it's going to shift moment to moment, day by day, as we all sort of transition through this world-changing event. So there we go. Kyla, did you have anything to add? Or anyone else? Did you have anything to add? Kyla?
That was beautiful. Thank you. I think those are really good points, particularly about are you able to help yourself? Because sometimes when we get really worked up, um, there can be a danger of dumping things on others too. But that being said, it can be really hard to ask. So if you need help from others, that is totally okay. Totally okay. We
Yeah.
all need lots of help right now, more than ever. So,
Yes. Yeah. And I noticed that as well. So for me, I'm very, very mindful about not leaping into service as a way to avoid what I'm feeling.
mhm,
Um, and because that too can be a way of numbing out and disconnecting, which then disrupts my ability to give uh, deep, compassionate service. So, so it's a real balance, and it's okay to not get it right, and it's okay to muddle through. We're all muddling through everything, and I find there's a level of compassion that's growing within people, even people who are maybe uh, not used to compassion. They're starting to feel it. So, and if they aren't, that's okay. You just take care of yourself. We all have a lot of work ahead of us. So, but yeah, and thank you, everybody. Thank you for holding space for all of us. Just being here is so very meaningful. So,
mhm, definitely. Another thing also that you have said to me before about help, which can be good to remember, especially if it's hard for us to ask for help, um, if we haven't had a lot of practice or just some days are just harder than others. That's totally okay. Remember that asking for help is puts you more in a place of compassion as well. When you ask for help from others, then you're not like if you never ask for help, then you might be on some level judging people for asking help. So just bringing that compassion to yourself for others, other people, there's a good chance that they want to help as much as you do. So it is, remember that it can also be a gift for them, that they can serve you in some way as well.
yes.
People that can be really nice for people.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we'll be sharing as a resource um, uh, to the blog posting for this event. Um, there's some really great if you're resources. So if you are unfamiliar with the work of Brene Brown, she's a fantastic angel placed here for us to help us through all of the vulnerability with this. That idea that of our need to ask for help and get comfortable with that as people who are naturally helpful, and thrive on helping, that came from her work. That's where I originally got that information. And as soon as I heard that, went, oh my goodness, yeah, it's hard for me to ask for help. And in order to be a good helper, I have to get really good at knowing what my needs are and asking the right people who are able to help me in that way, um, and to ask again of other people. If those first couple of people I asked are unable to help, then I'm going to keep on asking until I get that need met or I get redirected to other resources. So you may not be able to help it. You need to really know what your best service is and stay within your service. Stay within your scope of what you are great at, of what your true gifts and talents are, and then helping from those skill sets, and letting other people who are good at other things do those other things. So if you're not an IT wizard, don't worry. The tech angels are activated, you know. But if you have that skill set, it's in high demand right now. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll be posting some links to those videos in the Luna Holistic blog in a bit. There's a couple of really great videos. There's one on vulnerability that Brene Brown has. There's one on empathy. And there's also another one about our role as helpers. And we'll sort of post that in the resource section or in the resources as we go. Yes, there was another resource. I was like, there was something else I was going to say. Another really great resource is the book, The Art of Extreme Self-Care by Cheryl Richardson. It's a phenomenal book. I highly recommend it to you if you have a really hard time asking for help. That book is all about creating new pathways in your brain to cultivate that self-care muscle, and then also about it's worth it just for the chapter, which is called Let Me Disappoint You. It's the best. So that's another really great resource. And you can probably find that digitally or through the library as well. So
I also just got it on Amazon too, so you can definitely get it that way.
yes, it's a really, really good resource.
And as she says, I'm not very far into it, but as she says, we're always going to disappoint people. We can't please everyone, so that is getting comfortable with that is really a skill that would be helpful for us all to learn.
Yes, yes. Yes, and knowing that you don't have to do it all for everybody, that and that a big part of this is learning, for a lot of people, is learning self-sufficiency and learning, cultivating those skills of asking and keeping and knowing who to ask and when. So if you were perhaps in imbalanced relationships before this, where you were just like the source and people were just plugging into you and you were just giving and giving and giving until you had nothing left, that is an old way of being, and that way is over. We cannot get through that if we have that imbalance. So it's really encouraging people to be in their own bubbles, and letting everybody do their own healing work and let them be in their own energy space and bubbles. And really the only people, as far as I'm concerned, who you are obligated to help is yourself, and any minor or legal dependent who is dependent upon you for their care. And if you can't care for them, then you have to arrange for other people who are able to care for them to care for them. Everybody else is an adult, and they can continue. If you can't help them, they have resources, and there's lots of people who are banding together. There's lots of people who have those supports in place. So So it's really important to just stay within your capacity and your area of expertise, knowing that that might change moment to moment as we go through. Some days are going to be good days, other days are going to be bad days, and that's okay. And just helping from your area of greatest service, which includes taking care of yourself. Because if you go down, how can you help anybody else? It's the oxygen mask. Put your own oxygen mask on, put on your own energy suit, your own energy bubble, and then only if you're stable can you reach out to other people. I always think of this idea, this concept that firefighters don't run. No matter how intense the emergency is, they are trained to do it in a very practical, they can move quickly, but they don't run, and they don't run unless it is required for their own health and safety. But they don't rush into buildings that they haven't. There's a whole system of training that they have to keep themselves safe while they are helping other people. And so we need to remember, like, don't run, don't rush about, get grounded first. So yes.
I'm typing the name of Cheryl Richardson's book into the chat if anyone's able to see it, just as a reference also.
Yes. And we will be listing all of the resources that we suggest in our videos in the blog article that will be attached to this video and podcast on the lunaholistic.com blog. So it'll all be in one handy place for you as we progress. Yes, thank you. And Gail said, thank you for reminding me of some of the basics of my Reiki training. First and foremost, self-care. Absolutely.
It's all about level one.
Level
foundation.
one.
The foundation.
Yes, it is. It's like the very first thing, very first day of Reiki training is grounding. That's it, is really plugging in. Yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, and there are, yes, and check with your local bookstores as well, wherever you are. My book is the physical book is available through Amazon. So you can order it through there. It's not in bookstores at the moment. But there are other books that are available from your local bookstores. So please do consider, if you do really like physical copies of books, do consider supporting your local bookstore wherever that is for you. So
Tanya has just put some information about that in the chat, which is very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah.
Curbside pickup, that is great.
Yeah, so here in Calgary, Owl's Nest Books and Shelf Life are offering curbside pickup and or delivery of books, which is just like, oh, I'm so glad there are book angels out there, because I was just thinking about, like, how do you decontaminate all of the books? I love books. And I was like, I can't go there. That's a mind thought. That's not my work. And I just put that outside my bubble. And I'm just going to trust that some beautiful librarian angel is figuring that out for us right now. Mm-hmm. So that is not my area of expertise. So I can't think about that, because if I get into that, then I start tumbling into all of the other potential losses that could come from this, and it's too much. It's like the mind can't compute what is happening, so the mind isn't the place to go for advice, because it's confused. It's just our minds have no idea. Nobody knows, and so we're facing uncertainty on an unprecedented scale in so many areas. So I find the safest place for me to be is in my soul, in my heart, in my inner being. That's where I feel calmest. That's where I feel like, okay, I can regroup, I can take a breath, I can ground, and then I can ask the soul inside me who knows the wise part of me that placed me here where I am doing what I am, that part can give me direction. And my brain is just a little computer, and so its job is to carry out the task. Its job is not to make decisions. It's the heart. So thank you. And Shauna says, my self-care practice has definitely increased in the past few days, but getting the support today and sharing of energy is so vital. Oh, thank you so much, Shauna. That's really, really amazing. I'm so happy all of you are here. I cannot express how much it means to me, because all healing is self-healing. So while you may have been drawn here for yourself, you being here helps me. It really does. It makes me feel like I'm not alone in this, because it's so huge and it's so overwhelming, and we need each other more than ever. And so your presence, you sharing the lunaholistic.com link with people, that's the everything we're hosting, all of the new events and links to resources is all there on the front page of the Luna Holistic website. The Luna Holistic blog houses all of the information and materials as we're able to process and release it. We'll be adding more resources to the resources section when we're on that step. Very important to stay on the step you're on. And when I get to that step, I've got a lot of resources already that I've been sharing with students, and I'm going to be making a lot of those, as many as I can, publicly available. A lot of recorded guided meditations. I will be recording very soon a nighttime bedtime meditation, one that you can just put on and listen to as you fall asleep, just to help balance out your energy, especially if you're just go, 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 and you're in high overdrive all of the time. You can just put that on and go to sleep. But really, any of the guided meditations, any of them at all, just put them on as you're falling asleep. You don't have to do anything. You've already done enough for the day. Now it's time to close that book, close that chapter, put it away, so that you can completely recharge your body, mind, spirit, soul, everything, so that you can take a deep breath, regroup, so that you can wake up and start the day and begin again. And probably they'll also, on some future step, I will be creating a waking meditation. So a lot of people have been saying that they've been waking up fearful. They feel mostly fine throughout the day, or they're managing, coping well with their coping skills and tools that they use. But there's something about the stress level within the body, and overnight, sometimes it's hard to sleep or you wake up. And so it's really, when you wake up, just, even having a meditation that helps you regroup, connect in, and so that you can function and do all the things that you need to do, including taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself, and making sure you're eating well and drinking lots of water. Everybody take a sip of water.
Or even if whether you remember it or not, you might be having more nightmares or bad dreams, or just dreaming about everything. I know I am. I was dreaming about it all night last night. So yeah, that would be really helpful. Thank you, Geneva.
Thank you. Tanya says, nighttime meditation will be great. I find the nights are the hardest. Thank you. Yes. Annalise, thank you, Geneva and Kyla, for your beautiful words. You give me insight and confidence that the healing journey I am on is where I need to be. Thank you. Yes. Everybody is exactly where you need to be. You've been placed there like little chess pieces on this grand board. And that is an idea that gives me a lot of solace and comfort. And it also helps me relax a little bit when I think about world problems. Is like there's some human being out there where they've just studied their whole life on that thing, you know, that they know how to do that, and that's their area of service. So all of the problems we had before this, there are people who have been working and dedicating their lives and their skills and their hearts to solving those problems. So, um, if you're not directly engaged in the issues that are near and dear to your heart, know that there are people who are on the ground working with them. You know, it's really important to remember that, and that's a thought that really helps me get through. So, and not get too overwhelmed by world events, because I really feel it, all of that is very immediate. So thank you, everybody. Great. We're at beautiful. So, and Gail has one comment, one last comment before we do another meditation, maybe two. Gail says, I've enjoyed your beautiful meditations for years, Geneva. Thank you for adding even more blessings to you and your team. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Gail. It means a lot. Yes. Okay, let's do another meditation. This one is, the title is in, I haven't figured out the title yet. It's like an energy bath, chakra clearing, energy activation healing. And it's a guided meditation like the grounding meditation. You can just relax and follow along. And yeah. Okay, we're good. Do you have anything to add before we jump into that, Kyla?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
I'm very
well,
excited about this meditation.
yes, it's
And the
pretty
name.
great. It's pretty great.
It is.
I like it. Great. Okay, we'll just settle in. Take a few deep breaths, just relaxing, gently closing your eyes, just letting any of that static charge be released gently by a sigh of relief. Just knowing there is a strong guiding presence here with us all. Deep down in the core of everything, there is a steadiness and a flow, a deep inherent wisdom within the planet, gently guiding us and nourishing us, supporting us in any way imaginable. Just letting everything heavy melt into the tender arms of Mother Earth. She is prepared to receive it all. There's nothing too big There's nothing too painful. There's nothing too overwhelming that she cannot help us with. Letting that strong and nourishing guidance flow. Feeling that ancient rhythm of energy. Knowing that rhythm within the earth. That slow and deep cycle of nature lives within you. You can feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your heart. You know this to be true. Take another deep sigh of relief, letting everything melt off of your shoulders, placing temporarily everything outside of your bubble, giving yourself the space and time to be within the stillness inside of you. Letting anything that isn't connected to your purpose in this lifetime go. Allowing your soul to decide what to keep and what to stay. Knowing that this is a process that happens deep inside of you. A knowingness in your heart. Allowing the mind and all of its thoughts to step into service of your heart and your soul. Your heart is in charge and it knows what to do. Your heart is in presence and full expansion of your spirit and your being in this moment. This beautiful and precious moment with all of its grace and gifts. It's yours. A beautiful violet light is descending to touch your crown. Welcome in the light and allow it to fill your crown and third eye, your throat, through your shoulders, down the arms and hands. Moving in through the heart, the solar plexus and belly. Gathering all of your solar plexus energy, keeping it inside of you. Bring it to the sacral, the lower belly, the root at the base of the spine, and all the way down your legs to the bottoms of the feet and all the way to the center of the earth, completely connected and rooted. Take a few soft breaths into whatever you are feeling, knowing that all of your feelings are okay, giving them space to be felt fully, breathing deeply into the sensations of it, noticing how they naturally shift and move very gently one by one, being led into the light and grace of your soul. Begin taking soft breaths into your energy field, noticing what's there, noticing with kindness and compassion, allowing anything in your energy field that isn't yours to dissolve, letting it go to the highest light, knowing that there is an immense, kind, and loving presence within the universe, looking out for all of us. Surrender everything that is beyond your control to the light, allowing your aura to be swept clean and clear by your guides and angels, your immense divine team. Around the edges of your aura, your energy field, your bubble, imagine a beautiful rainbow. Red on the interior, closest to your body, all around you. And beyond the red, orange, bright and vibrant. Beyond the orange, yellow, clear and beautiful. Beyond the yellow, green. Beyond the green, a cool and soothing blue. And beyond the blue, a steep and serene indigo. And beyond the indigo, a protective violet, purple light, totally smooth and clear, head to toe, all the way around you. Knowing that this field is maintained by the angels in your team with a strong intention from Mother Earth and the universe itself. Guided and protected by your divine team, all the beings of the light. They will maintain this for you even if your mind wanders, attending to other details of life. It will stay there. Rest here in this energy for a moment. Now, very gently, bring yourself back into the present moment, back into your body, fully reintegrating with your physical body, gently wiggling your fingers and your toes, maybe rubbing your hands together, giving yourself a hug. And bringing your hands down your legs, connecting you back into the earth, back into that grounding energy. And then with your hands facing your aura, just smooth out the edges of the aura, nice and even. Give your aura a little pat to seal in the healing in divine love, light, and wisdom. There we go. There we go. Thank you so much. As you're arriving back from that energy bath, energy activation meditation, yeah, you can type your experiences into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. That was just so great for me. It's amazing the amount of collective space we hold for each other. And I've always found meditations in a group to be much easier because we hold this sort of field of energy collectively for each other. So it's easier to drop into stillness when we gather. And even though I've been doing this and writing these and working with people individually, I find it's such an anchor to be here with you. So thank you for everybody who's joining live or later, for holding such big space for me, for everybody, for all of us, and for yourself through all of this. It's quite a phenomenal experience. I just feel so relaxed and back in my breath and body. Tanya says, restoring breath, the love of Mother Earth, and connection with the divine team and guides. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya. That's beautiful. Kyla, do you have an experience to share?
Thank you. That was, thank you, Geneva. Yes, Tanya's was great. I agree. Restoring breath. That was so gorgeous on all levels. And I also felt that it not only was clearing my chakras and grounding me and clearing all my energy and topping me up, but I also felt that it was really helping to integrate all that you have been teaching us today, because I was seeing various things like the rainbow, like just seeing myself in different places where I was reconnecting with the rainbow, and like other little tidbits that you've dropped in. Like it felt like it was really integrating those for me, and maybe giving me ideas and places for how to use them more often in my daily life or when I'm at work. So it also felt very, integrating that way. So that is so helpful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Shauna, so many levels of protection in that meditation. I feel warm and safe. Reiki always has the ability to hug my soul. So thank you so much. Thank you, Shauna. Yeah, it does feel like it's like a Reiki meditation. It makes me feel like a self-healing or a healing. And this was a meditation that I downloaded when all of this happened, and it just seems to be a gift. And I'm sure there'll be more of these meditations and sort of downloads from the universe and the divine team helping us as we go through. So great, thank you. Just before we close everything off, now that we're in this very nice, cozy, connected space, I'm interested in what your inner being, your soul, your heart is telling you what your next tiny empowered action is. And it could be something really simple like rest, or go have a nap, or go have a snack, or call a friend or a loved one, or go do something creative, or share your gifts with the world. If you want to share what your tiny empowered action / self-care step is in the chat, we'd love to hear what you how you're feeling, what your heart's telling you to do. For me right now, let's just see. My heart's saying, it's interesting. I got go bake cookies. Go bake cookies with my family. Some family time is in order, apparently, which is the neat one. I hadn't got that one in a while, but that's definitely a big part of my self-care. I've served enough today, is what my team says. So, Kyla, what does your heart say?
To go out into the sunshine and go for a walk, and also to play for a while.
Yes. Yeah, that joyful play.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we need that, right? It's that like that little pit stop of like fueling up.
Yes. And that
Yes.
is also
Oh,
self-care and family time for me too, because I was thinking like go play games with your family. Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Bia says yes, that she might make cookies too. Melanie says, we'll go out for fresh air with my partner and my dog, connecting with Mother Nature. Absolutely. Sunita, go for a walk and watch the sunset. Grounding makes me want to be outside in nature. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Grounding is an energetic technique that we do to replicate a long forest walk. So when you're grounded, you'll feel the same you would if you'd been in nature for about an hour to 2 hours. You can kind of give yourself a dose of that. But really, Mother Earth is the best way of grounding. So being outside and in the fresh air, there's so many health benefits, but just be, a good long distance from your neighbors, and but it's there's so many health benefits from being outside, and nature will naturally ground you just passively, just even when you're not thinking about it. You don't have to put a lot of effort in. Just enjoy yourself outside, even just sitting outside on your balcony or in your backyard, maybe doing a little spring backyard maintenance, nothing too strenuous, just something like that can really help. Shauna says, yes, a walk outside to see my meditation tree and give thanks. Yes, I love the idea of having a special tree that is your special friend that you can hug, and it will hug you back in the way trees only can. Yes, we're all tree huggers here. And yeah, that is a really important thing. And yeah, and if you feel called to create or journal or write, that's beautiful. Anne-Lee says, yes, I have a meditation tree in the park. It's an oak and they do hug you back. Yes. See, you're among friends here, everybody. We all are tree huggers. In the most energetic sense of the word. Yes, absolutely. It's so beautiful. Well, thank you, everyone. Tanya says, here's another idea. I'm going to dig out some of my old favorite music. Yes. You know the song that my angels have been playing in my head anytime I get down or discouraged or burdened by things, kind of crushed by the weight of the world. I have something really funny to share with you guys. My son, who's 11, is about this close to being taller than me, and he's convinced that he is taller than me, but he is not taller than me yet. And I just tell him that the only reason that he's taller than me is because I'm being crushed by the weight of the world. But the song, when I'm feeling like I'm crushed by the weight of the world, I get this earworm playing in my head of Rise Up by the Parachute Club. Rise up, rise up, rise up to the power. I don't know all the words, but it's like from the 80s and it's beautiful and all the lyrics are amazing. And it just plays, it can play louder than my thoughts of doubt, my thoughts of worry. And it's just, my divine team has a great sense of humor and they get really obnoxious. They're like, no, rise up, rise up. But last night when I couldn't sleep, the song was Go to Sleep, or at least lie here for a while, which is a song from Hannah Georges, who's a Vancouver, BC artist. She's a singer-songwriter. Yeah, so sometimes messages come in all forms, like the songs you can't get out of your head. So wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate all of you. I am so honored that you join with me in this way. Thank you for those of you who are able to join live. Thank you for those of you joining later. Wow, you are amazing bringers of light to this world. I really believe in you. Keep on going and sharing your gifts and anchoring your light in whatever way your heart is telling you to do, moment by moment. It matters. It matters. And this recording will be, as I said, on the lunaholistic.com blog when we're done, on YouTube and Podbean. There's links to everything on the lunaholistic.com website. Be very honored if you could share this lunaholistic.com link with anybody who you feel could benefit from this. We're doing our best to share this with as many people as possible. So if you know of somebody who is sensitive and suffering and doesn't know how to ground or protect their energy field, maybe a big, sensitive, compassionate feeler, and they're drifting or they're feeling isolated or alone, and they need maybe a little energetic pit stop to charge up their batteries so that they can go back out and do the world's work, the work that they're meant to be doing in the world, or just even so that they feel safe and connected and supported as we go through this. Please share the link, get on the email list, which you can access through the Luna Holistic site. There's a newsletter section on the main page, and that will connect you up to this and all future events. Everything is going to be updated on the main page as we go through, directing you to all of the supports that we have available to you from our realm of expertise. So thank you, everybody. Kyla, did you have any tidbits to add into that before we close off?
I just wanted to also say, in addition to what you said, thank you. Thank you so much for everyone for being here and holding space for us as well. We really appreciate it. And if you feel like you're doing nothing, you are not. You are holding space for us. It's very, very felt and appreciated. And remember that you are all such beings of light. No matter where you are, how low you are the light, and it's okay to be where you're at. You're so important and valuable and significant, and it matters so much that you are here on the earth with us right now. And I think I speak for everybody, Geneva, when I say you are a powerhouse of light. You are so inspiring. You are love itself, and we love you so much. So thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so grateful for you and
Thank
all
you.
that you do.
Thank you. I really feel that, and I really feel all of your gratitude. It's beautiful and a bit overwhelming, but it's good. It's a
Yes.
really, out of all of the overwhelm, I really like that one.
Yes, me too.
And I'm really grateful for all of you too. Um, thank you. I feel that. So beautiful. Thank you. We're hosting another event Thursday evening, 7 till 9. I don't know what day Thursday is, but whenever Thursday is here, we'll be doing another event, 7 till 9. I think the 24th. Who knows? Who knows days anymore? It's so weird.
It's
Do you
confusing.
know?
No.
Does anybody know what day Thursday is going to be?
We can only take it one day at a time, so it is kind of hard, but
It
it is
is.
March 26th,
It's
Thursday.
March 26th. That's
Yes,
when the next one will be. I'll
yes.
post that up as soon as the links are available. We'll end with a nice global hug. We'll start off with the people that are closest to us. So we're going to give the world's safest hug right now. So just give a hug to all of the people attending live and later. Thank you for being here. Oh,
Thanks for
thank
being
you,
here.
everybody.
Hugs to everybody.
Hugs
Lots
to
of love and light
everybody.
to everybody.
Yes, and now we're going to expand our arms a little bit to let a few more people into our circle and expand your arms a little bit more to embrace the entire world, and just give the world a nice big hug. And just with all of the gratitude and love and support for the entire world, and feel that hug back. You guys are all doing such a great job. So keep on going. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, so much, so much, so much. Stay tuned for future events. Please share with people who can benefit, sign up for future ones, listen back as it works for you. We'll be offering more resources as we're able to post them. And thank you, everybody. And take care and be well and stay in your bubble and stay grounded.
Thank you. Thank you, Geneva.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.